Welcome to the Town Board Workshop, Thursday, May 8th, 2014. Please rise and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stand for a moment of silence. We lost our dedicated assessor who was here for 23 years and did a wonderful job for the town of Amenia. Also, a moment of silence for his family and for our brave troops worldwide. Emergency exits are to my right, the door you came in, and also the door behind the town clerk. Roll, please.
Councilman Delango?
Here.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger? Here. Councilwoman Doyle? Here. Councilman Prodi? Here. And Supervisor Prodi?
Here. Public comment?
We have Max Smith.
Hello, my name is Max Smith, and I'm a local Boy Scout. To achieve my Eagle rank, I must perform and oversee a task that benefits my community. Mrs. Doyle has shown to me the Town Events Board in Wassaic that I believe could be a great project. I see some problems with the board. The wooden beams were put directly into the concrete, and with time, as the wind blew it, it cracked the cement. I have some pictures here of the cement with some pretty sized cracks. Along with that, the beams are not parallel with each other. Over time, the wood is warped, so they're not plumb to the ground or parallel. Another problem is that the roof does not have a high enough incline to let the water run off as well as it could. Along with that, the beams that support the board are warped, causing the roof to be uneven. I believe that the entire board may have to be taken down and rebuilt because of the beams not being plumb. We can also include a bench that is part of the sign to give people a place to sit. My first scenario is to rebuild the sign where it stands now and improve some of the surrounding area. And the second scenario is to relocate the sign across the street to Pocket Park. The process will be lengthy because after I get clarification from you, I will have to get approval from the Boy Scout Eagle Council. Some of the things I will need to know is a contact that I will be able to use for any questions or concerns, and whether the town will assist in funding, because if not, then I'll have to do fundraising. My goal in doing this project is to make the area more attractive and have a spot for people to see the events happening in town. Thank you.
Can you hold that up for the press, please?
The next public comments is Tonya Shumatoff.
Good evening, board members. I have a happy announcement to make, which is that if there's going to be a watershed forum about the 10 Mile River watershed at Weathersfield Estate Carriage Museum. I had mentioned to you back in November at a board meeting that the Hudson River towns have had funding from the DEC for resiliency training. So we were able to get a wonderful roster of people together. It's going to be, the Army Corps is going to present on their recon. DOS, the Department of State, is going to present about local efficiency grants that towns can collaborate on regionally. There will be a presentation on flooding and flooding resiliency from Stuart Finley of the Carey Institute and Carolyn Clocker, who's been taking an assessment of the towns for flooding questions, is going to present that, and then also the all hazards mitigation report is going to be presented by the Duchess Soil and Water. So it is an event exclusively for municipal officials with education credits available, also for PEs, and we're working on the code enforcement. I don't think we can get their credits this time, but it's a wonderful thing, and we're hoping that everybody can sit down together from the towns. It's from Pauling all the way up to Ancramdale throughout the 10-mile watershed. Even Sharon's invited, because they're in our watershed, to talk about issues that are of concern, that there could be some possibility for partnerships in dealing with, for flooding, climate change, non-point source pollution, and so on. So I hope that some officials from Amenia will be able to come. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? I'd like to go back to Max Smith's presentation about modifying and improving the signboard kiosk. Matt, you want to come back up to the podium, please? Were you going to get estimates to see what type of repair, or are you going to do the work yourself?
I'm going to do the work myself, and possibly some help from other boys in the troop.
Okay. Okay, is there someone who would be able to give us a cost estimate of, what the cost would be for materials?
We don't have an estimate yet. We'd need to get some schematics of the ideas we have,
Okay.
and then we'll try to
And
get
then you'll
to-
bring them back to
Yeah.
us? Okay. Thank you for your interest in doing that. Town clerk report?
Good evening. Earlier this week, I turned over the local share in the amount of $1,115 to the town supervisor. On April 28th through April 30th, I attended the New York State Town Clerks Association Conference. The classes that I found super interesting were of FOIL. The classes that were held by the New York State Department of Health, there have been some changes in some of the licensing, as well as DEC. For all of those avid fishermen and hunters out there, I can now start selling you your fishing licenses. The DEC program is up and running in the town clerk's office. I just wanted to let the board know that the conference that I took, as I always come back when I report to any of the conferences, this particular conference I found to be an excellent source of very valuable learning information and materials, and not to mention the contacts that I've brought back. I found out that I'm halfway to earning my regional municipal clerk's certificate, so it's some good news for me on my own accomplishments. May 31st is the last day that I can accept taxes here at the town clerk's office. After that, you'll have to pay the county directly. Please, if you have not paid your town and county taxes, come into the town clerk's office and let's take care of those. And on a very exciting note, I'd like to report to the town board that our very own ARC cheerleaders attended the regional cheer competition on Sunday, April 27th. It was held in Massachusetts at the Six Flags. They went up against teams from New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and our ARC Angels competed in the junior division and they came in second place. And the ARC Stars competed in the PV division and they came in first place and they brought home the Grand Champion Award. So I'd like to give them an applause. If you pick up this week's Millerton News, you'll see towards the back of the paper, their pictures are there and their accomplishments is there. And that will bring us 3 trophies and this huge star that I don't know, we want to start talking about getting a trophy case here at the town hall. So congratulations to all of those cheerleaders, and a special congratulations to Coach K. Katrina Stossel has done a fabulous job with our team, and this is only their second season, so this is a true accomplishment for our young girls.
Yeah, she certainly has.
Yeah. Thanks, Lena. And that's all I have this evening.
The Highway Department?
Once again, we've been sweeping and grading the dirt roads. There's a lot of sand on the roads this year, and it's tough to get up. And I did get one complaint that it was very dusty after they swept. It always is until after it rains a couple times or the dust blows away. So it was a complaint, so I went and looked, and it looked all right with me. I thought the guys did a good job. Grading roads, we got them pretty well all done except Flint Hill. We got to do Flint Hill yet. Then we got a lot of ditch work to do this year. I know we sold our excavator back in March down at Luther's auction, or Flood's auction. That excavator was shot. Last year, I think it was last year, year before, we spent $2,500 to have the frame welded on the right side. And now the left side was gone, and the drive motors were very, very weak. So it wasn't worth fixing, not at all. So I have some money in a capital project fund, and I'm asking the board if I could put out for bids a mini excavator. I've been shopping around, and it's going to be between 50 and 54,000, I believe that's what it's going to come in as. And, this year in the capital project line, I have 60,000. Plus we have the auction money from last year, 9,900. This year it was 6,100, I believe.
Yeah, 62. 62.
6,200. And we got a lot of culvert pipes to put in, a lot of under drains to do on the dirt roads this year. And our bids for excavator this year, I think the cheapest one was $140 an hour. And we got a lot of hours to work, so the little excavator would pay for itself in no time. But I need board permission.
What resolution number would that be?
Yeah,
This-
Judy did a resolution.
Yep. Resolution number 12.
Resolution authorizing the town board to purchase town highway machinery. Whereas the town superintendent of highways did on the 8th day of May 2014 duly recommend the purchase of certain equipment pursuant to the provisions of Section 142 of the highway law. Now therefore be it resolved that the town superintendent of highways is authorized to purchase, in accordance with the provisions of Article 5A of the General Municipal Law, the following: a new mini excavator for a maximum price of not over $54,000. A contract for the item purchased shall be duly executed between the town superintendent of highways and such vendor. When the contract has been executed and upon delivery of the item purchased, the supervisor shall pay the following amounts as specified: $54,000 from budgetary appropriation for purchase of new excavator, budget number 51124.03.035 capital project. Can I make that motion?
I second it.
Is there discussion?
Yeah. Stan, I talked to you about it a little bit. Why do we take the money out of the capital project budget, or would it be wiser to see if there's a no-interest loan for this?
We have the cash.
Well, what I'm saying is if we have a no-interest loan where some of these equipment companies are given a no-interest loan, why not play with the equipment company's money and you still have our money in the capital budget just in case of a major catastrophe? You blow an engine on a truck, you blow a transmission or something like that. We're not depleting the funds all the way. I mean, I do believe that we do need the piece of equipment. I don't disagree with that. I'm just wondering, do we drain the fund to pay for the piece of equipment, or do we look into a finance, we finance it at a, low percent interest or 0% interest? Is it a Kubota?
It is whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. But speaking of Kubota, Kubota has 0% right now.
Yeah.
but not for us.
Not for
Yeah,
municipalities.
because they're knocking off like $11,000 for us. It's a $70,000 machine. Kubota's knocking off like 11,000. I think the dealer's knocking off like 7. So it goes from 70-something down to...
I mean, like I said, I don't disagree with the piece of equipment. I just would look into how we pay for it. I mean, my theory is if we could play with someone else's money with no interest, you know, I'd rather pay a monthly payment, you know, with no interest rather than, you know, it's just a thought that I had.
Is there any other discussion?
Well, I think that if there's zero interest, then that certainly is a compelling argument, but otherwise, I think we do have the money, and we're not getting a lot of interest on our money, so.
Yeah, I'll find this out before we buy
I mean,
it, that's for sure.
it's just, you know, if we could find it out and just look into it, I mean, I'm all for the piece of equipment. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We need it. It's just, I want to be wise when we purchase it.
I'll check into it.
Okay.
Was there a second?
There was. Councilman Prodi seconded it. Supervisor Prodi?
Just on this, it says the following amounts is specified, 54,000, but it's supposed to be not over 54,000.
Yeah, the max is 54.
It's just written, it doesn't say that. It says that even if
So
you buy something less than 54, you're supposed to pay him 54 the way it's written. So
What
can
does
we
that
just-
first paragraph
just-
say? Doesn't it
It
say
says for
not
a
over
maximum
50?
price of not over.
On item number 1, it says, 1, 54,000. Pay the following amounts as specified, 54,000 from budgetary appropriation. It should just simply say, not to exceed.
Okay.
Can I make that amendment? Is that agreeable to the board?
I'm okay with it.
Yes.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Prodi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
And Councilman Delango?
Yes.
That's all I have. Anybody have any questions or anything? Any word on the flowers? Yeah, I know
We're
you're
getting
looking at
there.
it.
I would think that the only question I have is that if our Boy Scout or Eagle Scout needs some help with this project, I had mentioned that your highway department is just down the road on Borden
Right.
Lane, and I'd be happy to call on you if we had
Yeah, we'll give them a hand.
some help. Thank you.
Yep.
Building department report?
Building department report. Please find April's monthly report for the building department. As building permits goes, we have issued 14 new building permits of $4,230.60, along with one renewal permit of $175, and a sign permit of $45, which totals $4,450.60. We are continuing with certificate of occupancy searches, and for this month, we did 4 searches, which total $650. And fire inspections, we did 7 inspections, which totaled $775, for a monthly total of $5,875.60. Sincerely, John Fenton, Code Enforcement Officer.
Grant report, we don't have a grant report. Committee reports, water.
Okay. Marco couldn't be with us tonight, so I guess I'll read the information he provided for us. Town of Amenia, April 2014 monthly water report. Total gallons produced, February 2,753,700. March 2,984,400. April 2,944,900. Average daily flow distribution 96,300 for February, 94,900 for March, 98,200 for April. max daily flow distribution, $149,100 for February, $129,000 for March, and $131,000 for April. Water loss and distribution, 0 for all 3 months. Coliform samples taken, February 2, March 2, April 2. Total chloroform detected, 0 for all 3 months. That's good. Tanya, system highlights, no issues to report, just normal monthly activity and housekeeping. Clean all C12 injectors and pump houses at early entry points. Q1 meter reads complete as of 4/24/14, 18,600 billed, 7,800 collected. See water committee notes for minutes on committee, and that is all I have for the water.
There was also a water committee meeting last night where we saw a demonstration of the KVS water billing system. That's one of the water billing systems that we're looking at and considering as an improvement over our current system. As soon as they send us a price quote, I'll share that with the board. Are there any other committee reports?
We have a report from Chris Klinger, Chair of the Recreation Commission. Good evening. Sorry I'm not there in person, but I wanted to give an update on recreation. Baseball and softball have started. Opening day was great, a nice parade followed by pictures. Art Cheer went to Six Flags New England and competed against the entire Northeast. They did well. The Angels, which are the older group, won second place, and the Stars, which are in the Pee Wee group, won first place and grand champion. Congratulations, we are proud of you. The playground is moving along. We finally found a landscape architect, and she is willing to donate her time. She will begin around the 16th of this month and will be doing all the paperwork and communicating with DEC. The price is still the same as before, which is $87,662. I am working with Parkitex trying to bring the price down as much as possible. We are still doing a community build and look for as much help as we can get when we get to that point. Thank you for your time, as always, and if you have any questions, feel free to call me, Chris Klinger, Chairman of the Amenia Recreation. I believe the landscape architect is actually our town engineer, Julie Mangione, I believe, put road Soika. So she's donating her expertise. Yeah.
Good.
Is there any other committee reports? Okay, ZBA and Planning Board training and attendance resolution. Resolution number 13.
Yes. I was looking through this, and it references attachment A, but there's no attachment A attached.
I have a copy here. It had been emailed earlier, so I assumed it was going to be attached to the resolution. That, in other words, the local law was sent over first, and then the resolution was sent later.
Okay.
So there's a copy there.
What is the attachment?
The attachment
the
is
actual
the
local
detail
law.
of the law.
Oh, the detail of the law.
Yeah. That was what I had emailed earlier.
Well, since we don't have a complete resolution, we could table it to the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, I just need that back.
The Amenia Historical Society proposal. Get someone from the Amenia Historical Society to speak.
I presume, my name's Norman Moore. I'm the president of the Amenia Historical Society. I presume the town board has received a letter from me dated April 29th, 2014. And I can go over that if you would request. I don't know if everybody got a copy of that or not.
Yes, we have it.
Okay. Well, I'm here then to just with my other parties here, from the town, the Amenia Historical Society, myself as the president, Maureen is the treasurer, and Jeannie Ashback is a trustee. We're here actually, so I don't waste a lot of your time, to answer any questions you may have with respect to our proposal. The reason we came is because we weren't sure exactly whether you needed us here or not when we've written this proposal for you, this letter. We always found ourselves as a representative of the town of Amenia in all the things that we do. We have had good fortune through the years of having been able to find a location where we can have meetings, but we've never had a place where we could be sure that at some point we wouldn't have a location to service the people who are looking to us for information. And we have taken our obligation as the Historical Society serious. We are mandated to provide information to the public about the town of Amenia and to preserve data and historical objects which comes into our domain. And we've been doing that. However, I've been the president for 6 years, and I've been a member of the society for about 7 years, 8 years. And in that time, I've participated in 3 moves. So we've been always on pins and needles about where we might be. And I do want to give credit for all those people that have helped us out. We've had been at Maplebrook, we ran meetings there. We had meetings in the schoolhouse building. We've had meetings in the Old Baptist Church, which is Ann Linden's building, the church on South Street. And then now we're in Larry Havens' real estate office. And we hold regular hours there twice a week. Now, this is an opportunity, and we're thankful for all those people for helping us, but we need to look towards the long-range planning of this organization, which would be in the society's best interest. And we feel that that would be helped by being able to be located in the town hall. I've spoken for the last few years to the supervisors. I've spoken to, first of all, Wayne Uvard, and I've spoken to Bill Flood, and I've spoken to Victoria. And they were unanimous in everything that they said to me, and that they felt that the town of Amenia Historical Society belongs in the town of Amenia Town Hall. So this is about the time when we need to see if we can make that kind of a arrangement. I've also spoken to members of the town board individually, as I've had opportunities to talk to them, and they too have indicated to me that they feel that the town of Amenia Historical Society does belong in the town hall. So when we finally decided what was our next step, we decided that with some persuasion that we should make and write a letter to the town board. And that's what I did. We have a need for a location. This is not just for me, but it's for everyone who depends on a historical society. And we need a place to keep our things. We do have a place up here where we have some file cabinets. I think that if we are given an opportunity and a chance, it will be to the benefit of the town. I have, Victoria has graciously shown me a room where she thinks we certainly would like to be, and she read the minds of many of our own people in our society and indicated to me when I was going to go over here to see her that see if you can get a room facing 22 next to the or near the elevator. And then when I went in to see Victoria, I said to myself, well, I'm not going to be pushy about this. So she said, I'm glad you came because I have just the place I want to show you. And I went down the hall and she took me right to that room. So I say today, it's a destiny. We're going to be there. Hope. But that depends on all you folks on the town board, and we're willing to work with you to see that we can accomplish that. I don't know if you want me to go into all the things we do. Usually, I'll just tell you what I have here for some notes that I took. As a president of the Amenia Historical Society, I once wrote an annual report that stated that I was happy for the support of all the people that helped the Historical Society. And I encouraged all the people who were part of the Historical Society and the community to use their personal ingenuity to help promote projects that they had in their own mind. And anyone with an individual idea or talent was encouraged in that report to do freelance work. Because everyone that deals with history of the town of Amenia has something to offer. And I thanked all the people that helped out that particular year. And we were proud that we had 2 projects that year. One event was held at the Immaculate Conception School, which has become a place that we used for certain programs because we have no place to go. And they're very good to us there. But we know also that if we came here, we could do the same with the auditorium if we had the ability to put something together. On that particular occasion, we had an event, an educational program for a program which was the Irish in the town of Amenia, and which was informative about how the Irish people came to Amenia and how they were in the business. They came and worked in, became farmers, which is this wasn't a farm community, and we also spoke about the various mines and places that were in operation in Amenia, and all the hamlets of Amenia were places where there was actually railroad in those days. Railroad stations, Leedsville, Sharon Station, all up and down South Amenia, Amenia Union, Wassaic, and the hamlet of Amenia, all through here, had mines, ore mines. And we had a presentation on that, and how the Irish immigrants came in the middle of the 19th century because of the conditions in Ireland. And that we had the program, and we had about 75 to 100 people attend, an overflow crowd. We also, that year, undertook a project because one of our functions is to present some education to the community about the history of Amenia. And we undertook the publication of the 5th edition of the Early History of Amenia by Newton Reed. And also in that book was the Impressions of Amenia by Dewey Barry, who lived here and worked at the in Amenia. And he wrote for the Harlem Valley Times. And there were only 2 volumes left in our possession of the early history. So we undertook, with the assistance of Betsy Strauss, who undertook to edit this book, and we put it together, we paid for it, and we now have that. And it's the most fascinating read about the people that settled Amenia. I just was overcome by what kind of people preceded us in this community. So that was another project that we completed that year. And that's the type of things we want to do. And we've had other projects. We've had the project of the Lake Amenia program, which we just had this past year. And at our annual meeting, we had a presentation by Julian Strauss, who addressed the forming of the early farming in the community. Stephen, you were there.
Yep, that's right.
And he had all the machinery. He had items there, and he had a slide presentation. So that's the type of thing. And the secretary here is beating on the chair, which means I just sit down. So if you have any questions, we'd be glad to answer that for you, to tell us which direction we're going. Thank you very much.
I think we definitely need to do this.
How does the rest of the board feel?
The only problem I have is how are you guys funded?
We are funded by
Did you,
by dues. And we sell our books. We do cake sales. What else do we do, Miss? Donations.
membership?
And Betsy Strauss and Ginny, they work on the genealogy committee. They get donations for the work that they do. And we do fill in the spaces to get information for people who need information about people who came from Amenia. We go back to before the revolution.
Well, like I said, the only thing that I have in question is, the $100 per month. Me personally, for what you bring to the town of Amenia, I don't think we should be charging.
I agree.
Because it is a historic society. You are here for the town of Amenia. What better place to have you in the town hall? I honestly think we should be grateful that you want to be in the town hall. And I do disagree with the $100 a month. I think we should waive the fee and do it that route.
I also agree we should waive the fee. I am a member of the Historical Society now, so I kind of have to.
You have to. Does anyone else have any ideas, or do you want to?
I just have a question. Would it be exhibit space as well as archival storage and meeting space? I mean, how do you visualize the room being utilized, and I guess I'm just imagining that you would have a portion that would be kind of an exhibit area.
Yes, that was in
And
the
then
letter.
you'd
That's
have
yes.
informal area where it's storage and meeting.
It's a
and
workspace.
Working space.
Oh,
Okay.
it's just like we'd be using the same. We'd be freer there than we are at Havens' real estate. I mean, we're kind of limited in what we can do because he conducts a business there. But here we would be free to be able to do more things and leave things out so that it can be exhibited, and it would be access would be. I mean, I'm here every day, so access to the area is available to people.
I'd be supportive of also of waiving the fee, and that it would provide more available resources to preserve and protect and acquire additional historical objects that, that would
I
leave
guess
those funds available to do
You're
that.
right, because we actually cannot take things that we can't use because of their
Lack of
bulkiness or their things of that nature. But we've got to keep. We can barely what we can take now is what we can copy, or the original of a document, or something like that, or photos. Generally speaking, that's all we can take, although we have some few things.
Does anyone else have any other comment?
I'm in agreement with the board. I think it would be quite lovely to have the Historic Society here at Town Hall and to have a larger exhibit space that's very accessible to everyone, I think is really fantastic.
Should we do a contract?
Do that.
It's probably best to have a contract
Yeah.
because you need to have something, both of us. I suppose that would be that's the logical thing to do.
So I'd like to make a resolution to authorize the attorney to draw up a contract between the town of Amenia and the Amenia Historical Society for them to reside in one of the rooms here.
I'll second it. Oh, I can't really.
I'll second it.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Rich.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion? No? Okay. Roll.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberg?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Delango, Councilman Brody?
Abstain.
I was waiting for the abstention. And Supervisor Brody?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I think I should have said that 0 fee with no fee.
Resolution for appointment of acting assessor, that one would be 13.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Better.
Resolution of appointment to fill vacancy in office of town assessor, whereas a vacancy exists in the elective office of town assessor in the town of Amenia, located in Amenia, County of Dutchess, New York, because of the untimely death of Ronald Gazzoli on May 3, 2014. Whereas pressing town of Amenia business requires filing of said vacancy expeditiously. Now therefore, in accordance with real property tax section 314 and the powers vested in the town board does hereby appoint Catherine Johnson, a resident of the town of Northeast, as acting assessor, the town of Amenia, for a period not to exceed 3 months at the rate of $30 per hour, and on a part-time basis as requested by the town board to fulfill the duties of the office of assessor. Such appointment is effective immediately, and said Catherine Johnson shall hold such office of acting assessor until the expiration of 3 months from the date of appointment, or until the town board shall otherwise fill the vacancy, the office of assessor pursuant to law, whichever shall first occur. The foregoing resolution was voted upon with all councilwomen, councilmen voting as follows, and I make that motion.
Could you say the name for the press a little louder, please?
Catherine Johnson.
Catherine, okay, thank you.
Who'd like to second that motion?
I'll second it.
Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger,
Yes.
Councilman Perotti,
Yes.
and Councilman Delango.
Yes.
Catherine, would you like to come to the podium? We can introduce Catherine Johnson as our acting assessor.
Hello. Nice to meet you all. Catherine Johnson. I am currently the assessor in the town of Northeast. Have been for the last 6 years. Ron and I work very closely. He actually was beneficial in training me when I first started. And we also share a clerk. So we actually really work well together, and I think this will be a smooth transition. Basically, what we're up against now is we have some deadlines with the county in filing our roll, and my goal is just to get us through that portion, get us through grievance day, which is coming up at the end of the month, and file the final roll. I just want to continue Ron's work. I have been, since he began being ill, I have been consulting with him and giving my advice already. So I think it should be a smooth transition, and I'll just get you the town through that period, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
Public comment? Yes, go ahead.
Arlene Juliana, I'm reporting as town historian first. I did attend on Tuesday the brochure exchange that was conducted down at Dutchess Stadium under the direction and arrangement of Dutchess County Tourism, Mary Kay Verba and her staff. It went started at 9:30 to 11:30. Got there a few minutes late, but it was interesting because the last time we did this was inside someplace, so we had to, or at least in a covered a place, and we had to bring our tables and blah blah blah. Well, this time, and apparently they do this down there, they did it right in the parking lot of the Dutchess Stadium, where you pull up your car and you either set up a table in front of your car or you open up your trunk, which a lot of people were, salespeople, that's what they do. They have all their stuff in the trunk of their car. And those people who, the vendors that were there, the representatives of various organizations, which basically are, their aim is tourism dollars. And so it was really different for me, probably not for them, but for me it was different. So I took my stuff out of the trunk and set up a table in front of the car. And among the things that I had there was this brochure, which we published last year. I didn't count the number that I had, but I picked them up from here. I cleared out almost down to the last stack of them in that box. Great. So I could have had over 200, 250. Dutchess County Tourism staff takes these particularly and distributes them around the region as well as in their own office space. So we get a little widespread publicity thanks to that particular event, because I don't know how far these things go otherwise, really, except for my hand out of here, right? Basically, or wherever. That's a major place to put, although I think you put them someplace you used to, Victoria, but I don't know if you still do that. Anyway,
Actually, at the antique shop.
pardon?
As the antique shop as you come into town.
Yeah, that's what you said, right.
Because she gets a lot of people there, so she asks for them because she likes to give them out.
Okay?
All right, I'll get it, but we don't need to waste time, I'm sorry. But the edge here just doesn't hold everything, it goes right down. Yeah, I know you do, so they move, from what I can tell. Now, whether we'll get, this is a little side, while we're talking about that, this particular brochure. I don't know if you'll need to produce any more this year, or if you want to. Last year, we did, updated it, and made copies. I don't know where you ultimately took the money. I guess you took it out of my line, but that's all right. Doesn't matter, even though you don't. But don't make my line go over for your spending.
Nope, doesn't happen.
I don't appreciate that one, I'll tell you.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, no. Oh, dear. But this and also the brochure that we produced for the quadricentennial, that's the big one with the map inside. I brought some of those. There weren't too many to pick those up, but once they see the map inside, which was, a historic map, 1683 to 1983, drawing done by Sally Gifford of Millbrook for that particular brochure, which seemed to go too, right? But these were the ones that really I was there to mainly be sure that the county got them, and they did. I also have on the little display area, I did bring a table to display, so I stuck it in front of the car. I did have some Wasake. There's not too many of these. This was definitely, I think, was produced out of my budget line last year. And again, I don't know if you want to do anything. And the original ones were in color. Mm-hmm. I don't know, this because it was cheaper. But this is a great brochure of the Hamlet of Wasake, and it's really pertinent to today's, activities are going down there as far as the buildings renovating and the projects down there, But there's not too many of these left.
Arlene, what would be the cost if we were to do them in color?
Pardon?
What would be the cost if we were to do them in color?
Probably 3 times as much, that's what I remember, which means
Do we need
$100
to do more?
You can print it on a computer in color.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We could probably.
Pardon?
You could print it on someone's computer in color. You could probably get about 200 copies.
Talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would know.
I don't know. These were printed.
If we could do it, then.
These are printed, which again, I don't know I know there's some difference in quality from printing. I put the printing businesses. We're trying to put everybody out of business in this town. Town's trying to do everything. Come on, nobody's going to need to work here. They're going to just come to the town hall and everything's going to be done.
You think we could get it donated? That's
Don't think that's, facetious. Really, it isn't. But anyway, I'm just saying that I did have this one here. I brought this over, which is from a tri-state, Sharon. Nice little. I don't know how many of you have seen it. But a couple people picked it up. I said, I'm not advertising, or promoting Connecticut. On the other hand, we certainly are on the border, right? And we pick up from the tri-state areas, I'm sure, just as they may pick up some business from us. But so I'm just letting you know that I was there. I had some things to display as well as to give. There wasn't that much. They said they had 90 people there to do that were involved in distributing. I don't know for sure. But I picked up, or people gave to me, some brochures. It says, you need, in case I mentioned, You need all this stuff that, with luck, I mentioned it all. Doesn't happen. But this, arts is the name of the game, you're absolutely right. That's a
You
big,
can give them all to Dawn. and
a
she'll
lot of,
just scan
fair
it.
number of people. This is one of the, this is the main one that I received a lot of. And so I'm giving you a copy and I'm gonna leave some out on the, arts is
Okay.
really
This is awesome.
big thing. All kinds of bargaining going on. Yeah, it's good, right.
Well, you just made my day, Arlene.
Oh, okay. Who's day that is?
You made my day.
Stephen's day. Anyway, so it was fast day, really, because 2 hours is not much. They were beginning, but what they did was travel around and pick up, talk to us at our own specific location, and either give us, meaning in this instance me, their brochures or their publicity material, and they picked up what they wanted from me, which was basically, and that was the name of the game. But the weather was good, so. There's other events going on in this county, that's for sure. And especially up in the upcoming month, up in the fairgrounds. Every week there's something going on up there. Beacon is having they're having events, and there's also, and I'm not going to do too good a job with this one, but I'll try. There's a dragon boat festival. They're calling it dragon because it's Chinese, Oriental theme for this event. It's going to be, now I have to read a little bit of this. For those unfamiliar with the sport, a dragon boat is a 40-foot canoe with 20 paddlers sitting side by side, 10 rows deep, and they do their rowing in that particular fashion. And they're supposed to be doing this, let's see, where is I gave it to you. I gave you something there. There's a lot of information on it. But for those people who might be interested in what they call a dragon canoe race on the Hudson River, and I think it's it's not too far off, you go to www.DuchessDragonBoat.com. That makes sense, right? But it is a new event that they've planned, and there was a young man there, and he came over, and I didn't copy these for you. I could, if you want me to, if you want more details. I gave...
Wow, looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, probably is for you, right? From Dutchess County Tourism, that's Will Tatum was there. He's the Dutchess County historian. He handed me some other event announcements, basically. Dutchess, following under the theme of Dutchess Heritage Days, which is an ongoing theme at this time. And June 14th and 15th, they are again having a Civil War weekend, this time at and I may be saying this wrong, I'm sorry, Timor Park in LaGrangeville, last year it was at Bowman Park. That was not an easy setting to deal with as far as even being a vendor. That was the one that Town of Amenia was represented there with a presentation only. No other historians came. Betsy Strauss and Julian did, and I did. Then in September, again, they're having a Fishkill Revolutionary War weekend. That's September 20th and 21st. And I'll put these, I don't know if you want to put them in your, I'll post these outside.
Yeah, you
in
can
this.
post them.
if I can find room.
We'll find you room.
A couple of years ago, people just went in and took down what I had. This is outside, the outside entranceway. Wow, all of a sudden it was gone and it wasn't even outdated. I said, all right. But there's also speaker series, and this is under, again, also under the Dutchess Heritage Days, the peoples of Dutchess County, and there's something coming up in July, September, November. So again, I will put these out, basically on the board out in the, I guess out in the entranceway, if I can find room.
Or you can leave them with Don and we'll find room and we'll post them.
All right, and there's another one, there's a road race that's starting up in Maine and going to end up in Florida. It's going to come through Poughkeepsie, not here, but I've got great big post. I don't know if you want to deal with that, but I'll bring it in anyway and we can see, but that looks like an interesting one. Anyway, I can't get to all the events of the various groups in the county that I would like to, but I do the best I can, and I'm sure to attend the quarterly meetings of the Dutchess County Historian, Will Tatum. I do my best to get wherever he holds that. And probably 2 or 3 or more things, but I guess I better stop. But things are going on in the tourism world, and I know what I had there as part of my display was a little information on the Wasaig project and also on the Ramble and there were people there who knew that we were involved in those things, but again, there wasn't that much time to have a major interaction, but just a shot, like that this is what we're doing and like that. But we got to keep involved, really. Otherwise, I think there are events that need to be brought to the attention of Dutchess County Tourism so they can advertise them. I may be wrong, but it seems to me, they do have provide that opportunity, and I don't know, Dutchess County Tourism does too, I'm sure. I know because I do try to provide information out on where I have in a folder out there. Matter of fact, I got to update it. Again, people don't always want to read too much at length, but it's because a lot of it is lengthy. But anyway. But with the price of gas, again, what it is, people are not going to be, matter of fact, they're not traveling that much right now. I can tell you that because I go to Poughkeepsie periodically. Maybe you do too. And once it gets up near $4 a gallon, so I know we have to keep local. That's a good idea, right? Now, I do have a public comment, but I'll sit down and get up again if you want.
No, you'll stay right there and make your
stay
public
right.
comment.
No, you won't like it, probably. So that's helpful, right, Dawn Marie, to have. I think I meant whatever you right, but and I don't know. You did tell me you have to have things to.
You have your very own folder. It's not this office.
Oh. And now that we have and I'm still into the Dutchess County historian role here, I just thought of this. Now that we have a new deputy, are we all right with the records? You think we're going to keep them in your, in your closet there in your office?
Everything that's required to stay in the vault, of course, is going to
Yeah.
stay in the vault. If you need to come in, I know that there were several that wanted to come
Well, I'm a complete novice on it, other than I did attend a class recently on it. And the gal who ran it was from the state of New York, I forget her name, but she was, complimentary to the town of Amenia, you and Patty, and the records as they were kept.
She came and she's done a visit of
Yeah.
our vault.
So if I need to do anything, you're going to have to, really let me know, because I know they're in pretty good shape now. There are grants out there but I don't know if, I haven't tried for that.
Well, we have 2 rooms where we're maintaining the records. I maintain some of the records upstairs, but all of our vital statistics stay downstairs in the vault.
Yeah, I know what you have in your, right. Was there, because it seems to me there was not monies budgeted recently. I'm only trying to remember.
This year, when I do my budget presentation to the town board, they're going to have a couple new items
Yeah.
that we're going to look at for next year.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't want to scare them with everything that I need right now. I got through the conference.
they don't get scared. They spend money like water. But I think there are grants. But and if that is the case, and if you do want me to, and I have to be involved, let me know. And now, speaking of money, I can't help but react to the questions on the capital funds project line. My recollection is capital funds monies are set up for a purpose. That again, things could have changed, and your lawyer might know that, or would know that, I would assume. But that's the way it has been, where you just don't put money in a capital fund for no purpose because you're saving it.
The capital fund we were discussing is specifically designated for highway equipment.
Okay. I thought it was, but
Yes,
I mean,
it is.
I don't know what they're teaching down, and I don't know what the principles of it are totally, although I'm sure they haven't changed, because my recollection is they were pretty sound principles. They were pretty good for that.
It's been designated for highway equipment for,
Right.
for
So
a
then, in
few
other
years
words,
now.
you can't just muck around with them. Supposedly, if you're putting $25,000 or $60,000 in for a purchase of something, that's what it's supposed to be spent on. And that is with right?
Well,
with
that's
any capital
That's
fund.
exactly the way it's set up.
It's still that way. I would
Yes.
think so. It sounds like pretty good finance when I was in office. And, matter of fact, we rarely set them up because it ends up saving money. Sometimes it could be misread. We didn't do that too often. That doesn't mean things, as you do it now.
I think you misunderstood what I was saying. I don't want to use that money for anything else.
Well, yeah, I didn't get that message from you.
That
That's
money
why
is
I'm
still
saying
the
this.
capital,
It's-
the way I was getting at it, that money still stays in the capital plan. It's rainy day money.
Yeah, but rainy day, okay, I'm in a different generation, and
I'm
that's
just
the way-
looking at it from a business
No, I
standpoint.
know,
I mean,
and
we want to make money with other people's money, not our own money.
Right.
That's the way I look at it.
But you can't just hoard money in Victoria's. That's another way to say that. We shouldn't do that to us. That has been done in this town, okay?
No,
I understand.
No, the money is, we
Not
put
pure.
away, yeah, we put away money every year in the budget
But-
specifically for highway
I know.
equipment.
Stanley knows how to do that.
Yes, he
Stanley
does.
knows how to handle his budget. And so does the water district, I think. It was a thing that 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was something about
Yes, they also have.
nobody knew where all the money came from. How could you not know where over $200,000,
Well,
Well,
I knew where
nobody
it came
knew
from.
about it.
It came from budget.
they have a capital fund.
Yes, they do.
Right. And I hadn't, okay? So you all got to know what kind of money is wherever it is. I don't know what kind of reports you're getting. But we used to have a monthly report that pretty well told us what was spent and what was left. Now, in the old days, and now I'm talking 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you could go over your line and leave it like that, and at the end of the year, reconcile everything, But that changed a few years ago, where you can't let a line go over, and that's why you're doing all these resolutions. We didn't used to have to do that, but because, and that's how we knew how much we had spent, so to speak. Which means if you budgeted $100 and you spent $200, and when you looked at your budget, you saw $100, oh, I only spent $100, that kind of, but you could tell in the past. But that became something that they, probably people didn't do right around the state. But I mean, my own thoughts are, you all really, and I'm sorry, with all due respect, people, you all really need to be sure you know how finances are managed in the state of New York, the county of Dutchess, and town of Amenia. Victoria's got some good background compared to, not everybody does. They don't, but it's something that you really have to respect, and especially us taxpayers.
Is there any other public comment? Okay, Tanya?
I just want to applaud the town board for having the Historical Society here. As a reporter, I've written 7 historical stories on Wassaic and Amenia, Lake Amenia, and the history of Wassaic. And Arlene and Ann Linden have been a treasure trove of information, as has the Historical Society. But I had to travel to their homes to get the information and get information copied for me, and it will be so much easier for the history of the town to have it in one place. And I'm happy to contribute my stories, which have photographs in them, if you'd like to have them in that place. And then I just want to say, I also am so happy to hear that the Boy Scouts are renovating, because I worked with the young man from the Wassaic Project who put that up originally. But I'd like to ask if you might consider possibly moving it to a more centralized location that might be seen by more people, because not that many people see that bulletin board there, and the townspeople weren't really asked when it was put up where it would be better. In my opinion, it might be better on either the little green or maybe near the post office. I don't know. I think it's not used at all. Nobody puts any signs on it, and I just have right now there's a Wassaic Firehouse having a breakfast on Sunday morning from 8 to 10, pancake breakfast, and that they put their little sign right next to the post office. So people do tend to see things closer to the post office. I don't know if it's legal to put a sign thing there, but I just wanted to raise the issue that it might be better in a better location.
Well, it's one of the things we can consider.
Okay, thank you.
Town board comments?
I just wanted to let you know that the ACs have been ordered. The units should be here May 15th. As soon as they come in, they're going to contact me. I'm going to go down and pick them up, and we'll get them installed. They came in right on budget, right what they were supposed to be. So that's all taken care of. And I think that's really it.
I had some comments on the proposal for the ZBA PD law that we're going to go over next week. Of course, I still think it needs to have something in it to ensure the board remains independent. If somebody's going to be removed, I feel it should originate in the boards with a vote within the board first and then bring it to the town board. That way the boards remain in control and independent, and I would still encourage members of this board to think about that and possibly make changes to the resolution. My other objection is with the training. While you very magnanimously, Victoria, offered an email to pay for training costs and transportation, it needs to be in the law, especially for citizens who fall under the jurisdiction of the Americans with Disabilities Act. For people with disabilities who cannot drive, mileage reimbursement falls short of what they would have to pay, being forced to use car service at night because there is no public transport option available after 5. And why Dutchess County Planning hasn't just put their programs online in the first place is beyond me. It's not hard or expensive for them to just have a camera and film the sessions, then post it online. Even Cornell Cooperative has the equipment available to do that. And I think this board should make a motion that authorizes the supervisor to write a letter to Mark Molinaro and insist that he make the planning and ZBA courses ADA compliant, and we all co-sign it. So, does anybody have any thoughts on that? Okay. I did take a look at the finances for the period ending April 30th. I noticed that 46 of our lines are over their projection, which is 12% of the budget, and 10 lines are overdrawn. When we're doing the vouchers, some of them are coming through, aren't properly completed, and aren't even on the proper forms. I spoke about this 2 cycles ago and was assured that would be corrected, but it hasn't been. And now that I'm seeing 46 lines over the projection, and 10 of the lines overdrawn, one of the overdrafts is by 984%. What can we do to stop this? Because it can be a big problem. You know, we're in the first part of the year. By the time we get to the end of the year, I think it could be very problematic. No?
I'll be
Which line is-
reviewing it.
I'm sorry?
I said I'll be reviewing it with the bookkeeper tomorrow.
Which
All right.
line is 984%?
Supplies.
What is the line?
The number?
Yeah.
101.
No, the amount.
Sorry. They spent $2,711 so far.
And what was projected?
250.
It might be in the
the way
wrong
that
line,
the-
we just have to look at it. Might have been posted to the wrong line. We have to look.
Whose department? Is that within a department, or is it within the
It's-
central storeroom line?
No, it's not the central store line. It's the generic supply line that, instead of going through the process that we had in place last year where everything had to be like pre-approved, it's just, you know, order what you want, and now I guess people
No, it
did.
isn't order what you want.
Okay.
All the orders go through the secretary, the supervisor, and she reviews them all.
Well, if they're all going through the secretary, the supervisor, being reviewed, then I think that the budget needs to be paid attention to if we're overspending on these lines.
I don't know if it was posted correctly. I'll be checking the whole thing with the bookkeeper
Okay.
tomorrow.
Or if I'm misunderstanding, you know, please let me know that
Well,
too.
you know, I think the changes that we've been making have been pretty good, considering the mistakes that have been made by the previous bookkeeper,
I'm
in
not
reference
saying
to
that they're
not closing out the fiscal year at the end.
I'm not saying that they're not good changes. I'm saying we need to really do much, much better. Okay?
Well, the PO
Okay,
system
we're gonna
last year
look at
was
it.
not.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Appreciate that.
Does anybody else have any other comments?
And the last thing I had was about the sidewalks. I was looking over the history of the sidewalk, where we got the letter last October that the sidewalk needed repair, and Stanley did a repair, which, and Vicki, and I'm not sure if I have this right, because Vicki, you say that the repair was done, but then Victoria, you're saying that it's not, and
It was patched.
we want to get rid of the sidewalks. At the same time, we're trying to get money to get new sidewalks. So,
That one particular sidewalk, someone's driveway
mhm.
is part of that sidewalk. Now, on those particular sidewalks, we were looking to possibly abandoning those sidewalks, not repairing them. But we were looking in to see whether it was our responsibility or the DOT's responsibility.
But
And
why
that's
would we
where we
want to
left.
abandon the sidewalks when we're trying to create more of a walking environment?
Because those are sidewalks that go to nowhere.
And they're pretty dangerous too.
Yeah.
They're actually elevated
They all have
sidewalks.
to be replaced,
They
which
go,
at a substantial cost to the town.
this one isn't the one that heads out towards Pages and Beekman.
Right, on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
And actually, isn't that part of a driveway?
people use.
One of them is part of a driveway.
I know, because I've walked them. And I
Yeah,
can tell you
so-
right now that
So do we.
Well, the
well,
last
then we
thing,
need to do something.
we are doing something. I mean, we're looking in to see who's responsible for repairing them. All of those sidewalks are in disrepair. They're dangerous. They need to be replaced. Now, what we're looking into is whether the town has the expense of replacing them or possibly abandoning them, because they're really sidewalks to go to nowhere. I mean,
Well, they
just
go
like
to the
pieces of
park and they
sidewalk.
go to Pages, and they're used.
On the right-hand side,
Yeah.
we're not talking about the same ones.
I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same ones.
I don't think so.
The side of the road that Hard Roll Express is on? That's how?
Both sides are used. I walk on both sides.
No, I understand that, but the ones we're talking about are the ones on Hard Roll Express side. The ones that go up the driveway,
Yeah,
and then there's the ledge that goes over, and it comes down the other side.
Yeah. The dog likes running up on the ledge.
It's good. Very athletic dog.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Well, we're still looking at who they belong to.
Exactly. That's,
I put another call in yesterday to the Records Department at State DOT. I was there at least 2 weeks ago. They printed off 2 preliminary maps, which really don't show where the state right-of-way is. So they were going to print off additional ones. They printed some that were the wrong area. They printed up 22, and when I went down, they weren't the right ones. So they were supposed to they have to go up to another floor, and they have to put in the request, and they have to get them pulled. So I was waiting for a call back. I didn't get one in the last week, and I called yesterday, left another message, and I haven't received a call back. I will try again tomorrow to the Records Department. But what they indicated to me is that if this is on the state right-of-way, there's a possibility that, you know, if there's a dangerous condition, that the state may come in and take care of it, which would alleviate that cost to the town. So all I can do is follow up with them again. You know, they deemed it a Freedom of Information request. I also may have to take the maps over to the construction department, Chuck Walter, that deals with, I think, like the highway work permits and that sort of thing, so that he can look at them. But the woman in records also indicated that they would have the original construction records if the state put them in. It looks as though these go back, I don't remember the date right now, but it looks as though they go back quite far. And on the preliminary maps that I got, they have SW on there indicating a sidewalk, you know, in that area. But again, you have a very steep rise, and you have the driveway going up from an angle on one side of it. So
Yeah, that's the problem.
it could be a problem with
It
pedestrians.
is the problem.
Yeah.
And so, you know, one way or the other, the sidewalks either need to be replaced or abandoned, one or the other. Because they can't, I mean, they can stay the way they are, but they're a danger. So I think, you know, we need to continue looking into this to see who would be responsible, because we need to do something with them.
I'll call the records department again tomorrow. I left a message yesterday.
Well,
and-
let's get the info from the state and clarified. That would be very helpful.
Right, that's what I'm doing.
Great.
yeah, and in the meantime, you know, we should be looking toward extending the sidewalk to Beekman Park on the other side, on the left-hand side of the road. Well, it actually,
We have
Just
to
to
look
keep-
at grants to do that.
yeah, and that's
We
one thing.
don't
that
have the
we can-
money for it.
That was all I had. Thank you.
Any other town board comments?
Well, the only comment I have is, I think, you know, we need to solidify what we're doing as far as this, the playground is concerned. I think as a town board, I think what we need to do is we need to pass a resolution, making it contingent upon DEC approval, in order to, take the next step with it. Once we gain the DEC approvals and the permits, we should be in the community build and construction phase of that project. We should be moving in that general direction. It's obvious that that is the direction that the Recreation Committee has voted on, and the direction we want to go in. And then I think as a town board, generally I think we have the people that are in favor of it, but I think we need to make it official that the town board wants to spend this money in this fashion on this project. And that's all I have to say.
I would be in favor of putting the AUD, our completed financial document that went to the comptroller's office, onto our website so that Amenia residents, taxpayers can actually see. It's a lengthy document, but I think more information should be available. Then you would find your balances in all of our accounts and our capital projects. It's your money, it's not ours. There shouldn't be a mystery. That's just my thought.
I would agree. I would say that we should put the 50-page report up, but not all the forms that Victoria had to fill in, like those little 1-2-page forms to do the submission.
It might be even on the comptroller's website, so that it may be redundant, but at least on our town website, you could have a link to what is officially there. If you don't know where to look on the comptroller's site, you would have an easy way. Maybe you can provide that sort of thing to what's already been posted.
I can.
I mean, it may not be posted yet because we just got ours.
No, I just got the files, so I could put it up even this evening underneath the town board section, Dawn.
You can do that.
Okay, so under the town board section, if you guys want, but with or without those extra pages. What do you think, Victoria?
If you want to put it on the website, it's fine with me.
Stephen?
Yeah, we're all about transparency here. So let's.
I mean, that's why I sent it to all of you, so Michael, do what you want.
Sounds fine to me.
All right, so I'll put it up underneath the town board minutes section this evening.
Great. An ad was, just to follow up, an ad was placed in the Millerton News to notify the public that it's available for viewing in the town clerk's office. And in the town clerk's office, it does have the last 2 pages that it indicates that it was submitted on time.
Okay, so I'll put the...
It's kind of important to have the submission.
Available.
That's what they're going to want to see.
Okay. Done deal.
I want to congratulate the Eagle Scout, Max Smith, for coming forward and choosing to work for the town. I've been excited about having an Eagle Scout come to us because there are lots of projects that there are other Eagle Scouts. We have endless projects, but I'm so glad that you have chosen one that's so visible and has such potential to have an impact on the little hamlet of Wassaic. It's something that the CAC is already working on, and I visualize that sign board and the bench to kind of be a part of a larger community effort that's taking hold there. And I would suggest that the CAC work hand in glove with them to make sure that he's aware of what their plans are ultimately for that little historical park, and also and I'd be happy to be a liaison for the town board, and being as I'm on the CAC, I would be happy to keep everybody in the loop and work with Stan, because I think he's got equipment, he's got skills, he's got labors and technical expertise that I think we can utilize very easily. Memorial Day ceremony is going to be on Memorial Day. That's the veterans, the scouts, and the firemen will be leading a parade that starts at Mechanic Street, just a foot parade. They'll be stepping off at 10:45, so if you're a veteran or fireman or scout, you could start at the Mechanic Street and end at Fountain Square. We'll have a little ceremony that starts at 11. Hopefully everybody will turn out. Wassaic Community Day, and just to follow up on that, in order to make the Fountain Square gorgeous for that particular ceremony, the Saturday before, that would be Saturday, May 24th, we're having Planting Day. So from 10 to 1 in Amenia, in front of M&T Bank. You just come, and if you have gloves and a spade, great. Otherwise, we'll have some spades and gloves, and we'll just put some plantings in and get the fountain going so that it looks good for our veterans and our service at 11 o'clock. We'll also be working in Wassaic that same time from 10 to 1 in that area, and that's the CAC will be leading that, and the enhancement committee will be leading the one in Amenia. So you can choose which community you want to put your energy. There are memorials in both of those hamlets.
What time is the one in Wassaic?
It's at the same time, 10 to noon or 1 o'clock at the worst case scenario, but you don't have to stay the whole time. Volunteers can come for 5 minutes, plant plants as they're directed, and it can be either in Amenia at 10 o'clock or in Wassaic.
At the town park in Wassaic.
At the little Borden Park, at the crossing of the railroad station in Maxim Mills. I wanted to say goodbye to Ron. It was a very nice ceremony that I went to at the church in Dover Plains, and he has been a fixture here for 23 years. He's been an extremely good, cost-effective, useful, I want to say just utilitarian. He, you know, you could come talk to him, you could work out your issues. He was very approachable. He never did email. I mean, he's really going to be missed here. He was honest and funny.
Sweet.
We didn't always agree, but I think that's the beauty of being here. He was good at what he did, and he did it very well for a very reasonable. He always did his vouchers beautifully, so I will always remember his handwritten mileage vouchers. So thank you, Ron, wherever you are. I have had a private donor interested in putting a donation towards the rail trail, and it will be of a sufficient number so that we could, that the community residents could open an account at Community Foundations of the Hudson Valley. So I'm rounding up together the individuals who will be serving on that. It will be our little fundraising arm for the town of Amenia, and I look forward to doing that. I have most of the officers rounded up. I have a few more to get, and then we can officially open this account. I assume that we're all in favor of having a citizens group raise funds to help us with the match.
Is this for the extension of the rail trail?
The rail trail extension to Wassaic.
Can you say how much money?
It's $2,500 needed to open the account, so that will be our entry-level donation, and the citizens will be able to use that as a tax-exempt place to make a donation and show their support for this important project.
Can you forward the details of that to the board?
I can send you the agreement that Community Foundations of the Hudson Valley requires in order to set up a fund. Is that what you're interested in?
As well as who the citizens are for the board.
Okay. As soon as it's been formulated. Okay. And we were not ready to submit the application, after all, for a historical survey. We wanted to elaborate on the windshield survey and hire a historian to do that. We realized there are 8 districts. It's a bigger project, and we didn't have an exact number or a consultant that was ready to give us a quote. So we are going to have Leo Blackman is heading this up, and he is going to get somebody from Preserve New York to come and talk to the town board about the process and give us more details so that we can be prepared next year, next May 5th, which was the deadline. I would also just like to voice my opinion that I would be in favor of spending whatever money we need to have our attorney assist with the development of an appropriate fee in lieu of affordable housing that's required by Silo Ridge. They have agreed to provide us with a fee in lieu of building affordable housing in Amenia. And I understand that Sue Gregory has provided some information to county planning to help us with professional development of that estimate. And if additional information is needed, technical details, I would think this is money well spent. We use the attorney to do all kinds of things like attend meetings, and I think one of the most important things that we can do right now is to utilize the most important technical resources that we have. There has been opinions expressed on the board that we don't need technical expertise, and I would say that, Victoria, I'm glad that you're stepping to the fore and that you're going to help assist with this project with John Fenton. But I would also say if Denise needs to step in and provide some technical expertise, by all means, I think that we should spend that money as required or needed. Those are all my comments.
Is there any other town board comments? Supervisors report. I wanted to bring up, in the reorg, we had a position for a second deputy town clerk. And then we found that the only way a second deputy town clerk can be hired and used in the town clerk's office is through the state. So we were looking for another option or another title that would be acceptable through Dutchess County Human Resources. And we found that we do have a vacant part-time clerk position open, because I believe the town clerk wanted to use that person for...
There's a lot of projects for that second person that's going to be coming in. I'd like to get all of our resolutions up online. There's a lot of scanning. With the new DEC program up and running, we can have multiple users on at the exact same time issuing hunting and fishing licenses. The upstairs records room needs a lot of attention.
So I would like to make a resolution to authorize the town clerk to hire a clerk instead of the second deputy town clerk that was in the reorganization document at $15 an hour, which is already in her budget. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Lango?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
And you'll stay within budget?
Yes. Councilwoman Doyle?
I'm going to say no because I think that we can get a grant to do the records retention plan offered by New York State Archives and Records Management. So I'll say no. I think that we'd like to bring that town clerk's budget tighter if we can.
Councilman Brody?
Yes.
Supervisor Brody?
Yes. Okay, the pancake breakfast is Sunday, May 11th from 8 to 11 at the Wassaic Firehouse, and it's sponsored by the Wassaic Fire Company Auxiliary. The Ralph Vinciarello Amenia Lions Club Kids Fishing Derby will take place on Saturday, May 17th from 10 to 12. For more information, call Lori Hale at 845-373-9751. The Dutchess County TIC Task for Education Forum will be Wednesday, May 14th at 10 a.m. at the Pleasant Valley Fire Department, 1619 Main Street, Pleasant Valley, New York, 12569. It'll be a roast beef dinner sponsored by the South Amenia Presbyterian Church on Saturday, May 17th from 5 to 7. Tickets are $12 for adults and $5 for children under 12. Please call 845-373-9620, 845-789-1206, or 845-877-3939. I also received a letter of invitation from the Southern Berkshire Amateur Radio Club, who will have their open house at the Amenia Fire Department Pavilion on June 28th and 29th, 2014, between 2 p.m. on Saturday and 10 a.m. on Sunday. This is their National Field Day event for amateur radio personnel, and they would like anyone who would like to stop by. I had a call from Wayne Uvard today. I believe he was at the last meeting that I missed about the possibility of accepting lamp posts that were going to be donated by Silo Ridge. Was there any discussion about that? In order to provide more lighting, either toward the, in the front of the town hall, or maybe at Beekman Park, or possibly, down by the parking lot.
I mean, we did discuss it a little bit, and it was brought up, I had a concern sometimes reusing dated stuff costs more than just buying new. And the lamp post really isn't the major expense, it's putting the lamp post up. You have to trench, you have to put underground cables and everything else. That was the only concern that I had. I don't know if it's worthwhile having an electrician look at it, or maybe come up with a plan. I mean, I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but, I want to make sure we could use them and do what we need to do with them.
If we could salvage them, and if they are good to use, we definitely should have an electrician take a look at what they're offering us and see what we can find out, see where we can best use it, benefit the town.
Well, Wayne had mentioned, and I agree, that over by the entrance to the music hall, the separate auditorium entrance will need some exterior lighting, because as you go out to get into your car around that corner, it is dark. So that is one area that I think we're going to have to address if that becomes active in the evenings.
I mean, there's no doubt that we need stuff. I mean, there's no doubt, is this what we need? That's the question.
I see.
And so,
and is it going to cost us to take them down? What's the cost? You know what I mean? I mean, I think it deserves a little more. If Mr. Uvard wants to look into it a little bit more, is there any cost in taking them down? Do we have to pick them up? Are they going to be transported? Could we find a place to store them until we, use them in the future? I mean, again, it's a great idea. I'm not against it. I just want to make sure that we go forward with it in a smart, logical way.
I wonder if John Fenton would have know whether or not those would be appropriate, be able to see the lights and see if it would work for the areas that we know will need.
I mean, John Fenton's a code enforcement officer, he's not an engineer. I mean, technically it's an engineer, or the electrician.
Just an electrician.
I mean, John does work for us, and, maybe be kind enough to take a look at the light and see if it's possible. Who knows, they might be too high, they might be too short.
Right.
Where a new light post might cost us $1,000, it costs $1,200 to retrofit that.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what I just mean by logically and looking at it smart. I don't think it's a bad idea. It just deserves further looking into.
Yeah, and I know from what we're looking at over at Hotchkiss, they're actually looking at something that's more environmentally friendly. The technology has come a long way as far as the solar power and things of that nature. So, but like you were saying, we don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, and maybe we should have an electrician or John Fenton go over there and take a look at them.
I mean, Victoria, if you want, I could talk to Wayne. I could deal with this if you'd like.
Yeah, would you like to
I could deal with it and I'll
take that
report back
project on?
and let you know.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion for us to come out of regular meeting, go into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Second?
Thank you for coming.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.